Rockies. Last year, the Diamondbacks franchise, as you know, was really struggling. So they hired Tony La Russa to run the whole operation. You know, a very well-respected guy who's going into the Hall of Fame, already in the Hall of Fame as a manager, knows his stuff. The Phillies are floundering currently, have been floundering for the last couple of years. So they are hiring Andy MacPhail, who used to run the Twins and used to run the Cubs. Baseball guy.
I know where you're going with this.
The Rockies have been floundering for about 6 years now. And they have an interim president. Their owner, Dick Monfort, is acting as president of the club.
And how long has he been interim president?
Well, since Kelly McGregor hasn't been around.
Okay.
What should the Rockies do? Who should the Rockies? We know what the Rockies should do. Who should they hire? You got any names in mind, or an idea of what they should be doing on the baseball side of the operation?
See, rather than go with the old legend or the well-established white-haired baseball vet, I'd be more tempted to hire, you know, the Astros hired from the Cardinals organization and rebuilt that way. So pick any well-established organization and go raid their talent, because they have that person, whether he's the assistant GM or she's the assistant GM, has learned from the best. You tell me who you want.
Well, I could throw a lot of names out there.
Okay.
What do you think of Todd Helton?
Todd Helton as president of the Rockies? I love you, Todd.
How about assistant?
You're right. Todd Helton's a hunter. He's not a baseball
I know.
exec.
Todd doesn't have front office experience. But I'm throwing that out there because a lot of people think Todd Helton would make a good front office executive. Okay. That he knows talent. That he would know how to develop talent.
Okay, here's
now, maybe an assistant to the interim president.
No. So if you hired a MacPhail and then brought in Todd Helton to learn at a McPhail's knee.
Right. That makes more sense.
Isn't that what Joe Sakic did with the Avs? I mean, he basically did an internship with Pierre Lacroix and then took over. So I'm not opposed to Todd Helton being involved in the organization, but to just make him the president now doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, I'll give you some more sensible names then.
Okay.
How about Walt Jocketty?
Walt Jocketty?
Who used to be here,
yes.
now is the general manager of the Cincinnati Reds, might be ready to move on from Cincinnati.
I think that if you tell Mr. Jocketty, that's a good idea. That if you say, hey, maybe you don't want to be GM anymore. You want to be the president and oversee our entire organization. That makes sense to me. There's a good name.
I'll give you one, and he's a friend of mine. So a lot of people are going to say, he's just trying to prop up his buddy. Steve Stone has always wanted to run an organization.
You're just trying to prop
up.
No,
that's fine.
No, Steve Stone.
I've got thick skin.
Steve Stone is
one of the smartest men in baseball I've ever met.
Is a brilliant baseball man, a good communicator, I think would have very good baseball ideas, and on top of that, if this is what the Rockies want to do, and why would they not? Basically now, Walt Weiss is the face of the organization. If, I understand Arenado is the player people go see, and fans still chant Tulo's name. But in terms of the GM or the president, the Rockies are invisible. And Steve Stone, if he were the president, he could stand behind the batting cage and he would talk to more than just his good friend Les Shapiro.
Yeah.
He could not only help give the Rockies a solid new mission statement, he could enunciate it to people in the journalistic world, to people buying tickets. And he could do it in a way that even a knucklehead like I could understand.
Well, here's something else. What's been the Rockies' biggest problem through the years?
Pitching.
And who knows pitching? This side of Dave Duncan, who knows pitching better than Steve Stone?
Todd Helton?
Former Cy Young Award winner. I'm going to give you one other name.
Okay.
There's a guy down in Tampa who has done a fabulous job in so many ways. He's got a finance background. He has been president of Tampa, of the Rays. He's now I think he's the president of baseball operations. Maybe he's ready to move on, because you can really only go so far in Tampa, right?
Right.
Matthew Silverman.
Okay.
Young guy, Harvard educated. Get along with Bridich. They're both Harvard boys.
Okay, there you go.
Why not? Why not pick up the phone and see if he'd be interested?
This is why any of your names. I don't think Todd Helton's ready, but the other three names are all good, reasonable, quality names.
Yeah, here's the problem. The guy who would hire him isn't reasonable.
Okay.
So
I mean,
it'll
why
never
would you
happen.
not want the best and the brightest for your team?
Because you believe what you're doing is just fine.
Okay.
When the fact is it's not.
I'm not even going to turn this into a
referendum.
Less bash the Montfort hour. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say, okay, Les Shapiro, you're not the smartest man in the world, but you're not the dumbest either.
Thank you. I think.
You're not the smartest. You're not the dumbest. It's closer.
There's a lot of room in between there.
Closer over here. It's like
7 billion people in between there.
I need another hand.
Give me a better idea where I fit, okay?
Smartest, dumbest. Les is right. He's smart.
Am I closer to the top or closer to the bottom?
Shoots and ladders, Les. Smartest, dumbest. But you've come up with 3 good names. So I salute you, sir. And if you can come up with 3 good names, the Rockies can come up with 3 good names if they want to.
If they want to.
And they don't wanna. So when you asked me the original question, I sat here and went blah, 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 because that's what the president of the team currently does all day.
Wait a second. I thought you said you weren't going to turn it into a bash fest here.
I didn't mention any names.
That's true. That segment of the show brought to you by the Celtic Tavern, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rapids soccer team. The Celtic provides a bus to every Rapids home game. A lot of people go on that bus. They tailgate 2 hours before kickoff. You can join them. Just go to the Celtic. It's just 2 blocks west of Coors Field on Blake. It's the Celtic Tavern.